Do you still think the queen bee is the supreme ruler, holding the power of life and death over the hive? You are dead wrong. In reality, this queen is just an egg-laying machine, a puppet controlled by thousands of workers. Welcome to the Bee Kingdom, a 100 million-year-old civilization with brutal rules and strange laws that humans could never imagine. What is the truth behind the velvet curtain of the hive? Let's find out right now. Male bees, known as drones, have a grandfather but no father. Drones hatch from unfertilized eggs, meaning they only inherit a set of chromosomes from their mother, the queen. This means they have no father and no paternal grandfather. However, the queen herself hatched from a fertilized egg, so she has a father who effectively becomes the drone's grandfather. During mating season, usually late summer, drones fly to a specific zone called a drone congregation area. True to its name, drones from neighboring colonies gather here, hoping to get lucky with a queen. Interestingly, drones don't fly as far as queens do. This ensures the queen travels further to find a mate, avoiding inbreeding with males from her own hive, nature's way of preventing awkward family reunions. Although the queen seems to rule the colony, power actually belongs to the massive workforce, the worker bees. In reality, any fertilized egg can become a queen. But which egg is chosen, and which larva gets the royal treatment? That depends entirely on the collective will of thousands of workers. The queen has no say in choosing her successor. When the queen's productivity slows down due to injury or old age, the colony senses a drop in her pheromone levels and prepares to raise a new monarch. They select 10 to 20 newly hatched female larvae and feed them royal jelly. Let's pause for a second. The queen lays two types of eggs. Unfertilized eggs become drones, while fertilized eggs can become workers or queens. The only difference is the diet. Worker larvae are fed mostly bee bread and honey. Meanwhile, queen larvae are fed exclusively royal jelly. This substance is secreted from glands in the heads of worker bees and is incredibly rich in protein. It triggers the full development of the larva's ovaries, turning her into a queen. Without royal jelly, a worker is just a worker. Queen larvae are larger than workers and are raised in special vertical cells called queen cups. When the larva is ready to pupate, workers cap the cell. The first virgin queen to emerge will chew her way out and immediately destroy all the other queen cells. She ruthlessly eliminates her sisters to secure the crown. If two queens emerge at the same time, they will fight to the death solo combat style until only one remains. This ensures the new queen is the strongest, fastest, and fittest. Even her own mother isn't safe. If the old queen is unlucky, she might be killed by her own daughter, or more specifically, by her daughter's stinger. A queen's stinger is smooth, unlike the barbed stinger of a worker. This means she can sting repeatedly without dying, whereas a worker can only sting once. Another scenario is that the workers will kill the old queen. If she's lucky, she might be allowed to swarm, taking a portion of the colony to start a new hive, leaving the old castle to her daughter. Or, if the new queen isn't ready to lay eggs yet, the mother might be allowed to live a bit longer until the daughter takes over. But eventually the washed-up monarch will be killed or exiled. Despite being the most important member of the colony, the queen often meets a tragic and unfair end. No funeral, no tears. The Game of Thrones in nature is truly cruel. Speaking of cruel, let's talk about hive security. A strong colony has 10 to 20 guard bees patrolling the entrance. Bees have a sophisticated sense of smell to identify friend or foe. The colony's unique scent is like a passport. Any suspicious character is thoroughly frisked by the guards' antennas. Border Patrol also doubles as a quarantine unit. Sick bees are often denied entry. These security officers are disciplined and cold-blooded. Uninvited guests, usually honey thieves from other hives, are told to buzz off. If they don't, the guards will rip off their wings, legs, and antennae. The intruder is left crippled and thrown to the ground to die. However, there are two exceptions. First, bribery. If a foreign worker bee is lost and too tired to get home, she can apply for citizenship at a new hive. If she brings a stomach full of honey and a basket full of pollen, she might be granted entry. The second exception is the drones. Male bees from foreign hives are usually accepted without question. The only thing they contribute aside from being backup mates for a queen is ventilation. The hive is crowded and needs constant airflow, and luckily, drones have big wings. To be fair, even if a drone wanted to gather pollen, he couldn't. Unlike workers, drones lack pollen baskets on their legs and have tongues too short to sip nectar from flowers. Their bodies just aren't built for labor. They are optimized for one thing only, the nuptial flight, the one and only time they will ever mate. So drones aren't just lazy gluttons, they are fulfilling their biological destiny. Even making sperm is hard work. Each drone needs to produce 5 to 10 million sperm cells. And they're idle flying during the summer? That's not laziness. The mating flight happens at high altitudes and high speeds. In a literal sense, drones are gym rats training daily to build stamina for the most important race of their lives. Now, let's talk about the weapon most of you are afraid of: the sting. A bee's stinger is about 2 millimeters long. If a bee were the size of a human, that stinger would be nearly 11 inches long. Scary, right? A worker bee's stinger is barbed, so it gets stuck in the skin of mammals. When the bee instinctively tries to fly away, the stinger rips out, pulling the venom sac and part of the bee's digestive tract with it. Even after being detached, the venom sac continues to pump poison into the victim. It's a suicide mission. When a bee stings, it releases a complex pheromone called isomal acetate, which smells like bananas. This scent is a call to arms, triggering an all-out attack from the hive. Essentially, a worker bee marks the target with her own life. Once the signal is sent, all nearby workers become kamikaze warriors. They rush to the entrance, raise their abdomens, and release more alarm pheromones. The defense force multiplies exponentially. For a non-allergic person, a sting is painful but harmless. An average adult can withstand over 1,000 stings. However, for those allergic to bee venom, a single sting can cause anaphylactic shock and death. Statistics show that 0.3% to 7% of the population is allergic. But in reality, bees are gentler than you think. If you don't bother them, they won't bother you. And remember, drones can't hurt you even if they wanted to. They don't have a stinger at all. We praised the hive's beauty earlier, but how do they build it? And why hexagons? Honeycombs are made of beeswax, secreted from glands on the bee's abdomen. They chew this wax until it's soft and pliable, keeping the hive at a toasty 95 degrees Fahrenheit, 35 degrees Celsius to work the material. Scientists have found that the hexagon is the most efficient shape in the universe for packing cells together without wasted space. It uses the least amount of wax while storing the maximum amount of honey. Circles would leave gaps, triangles and squares use more material. But bees aren't doing complex math. Actually, they try to build circles or cylinders, but the laws of physics take over. The heat of the hive and surface tension pull the soft wax walls together, naturally forming perfect hexagons. However, don't underestimate them. Worker bees are master engineers. They build the cells at a 13-degree upward angle. This prevents the honey from dripping out, even if the comb shakes. They use their heads and bodies as measuring tools to ensure every wall is perfectly uniform. If a bee finds a field of flowers, how does she tell her sisters where it is? The answer is dancing. The waggle dance. It's basically Google Maps for bees. The bee moves in a figure-8 pattern, waggling her body in the middle. The angle of the waggle relative to the hive's vertical axis tells the other bees the direction of the flowers relative to the sun. If she waggles straight up, the flowers are towards the sun. If she waggles to the left, the flowers are to the left of the sun. The duration of the waggle indicates distance. Roughly, 1 second of waggling equals 1 kilometer. If she waggles for 10 seconds, that's a long commute. Bees have incredible vision. They have 5 eyes, 2 large compound eyes on the sides and 3 small ocelli on top of their head. These simple eyes detect light intensity, UV rays, and polarized light. This helps them navigate and spot predators. Some flowers even have patterns that glow under UV light, guiding bees to the nectar like landing strip lights. Polarized light is crucial. Sunlight becomes polarized as it scatters through the atmosphere, creating patterns in the sky based on the sun's position. Bees scan these patterns to locate the sun, even when it's hidden behind clouds. It's like a built-in GPS that works in bad weather. But here's a fun fact. Bees can't see the color red. They can't distinguish it from black, so don't bother wearing red to impress them. What you should envy is their sense of smell. Bees don't have noses, they smell with their antennas. Their sense of smell is comparable to a dog's. A honeybee can detect nectar from over a mile away. That's like finding a single dirty sock in a pile of 2 million clean ones. Bees fly relatively slowly, about 15 to 20 miles per hour. If you anger a swarm, you can technically outrun them, theoretically. However, they are persistent. A strong colony travels the equivalent distance of the Earth to the Moon every single day. Bees aren't as strong as their ant cousins. An ant can lift 50 times its body weight, but a bee can only carry about half its body weight while flying. To put that in perspective, it would take about 1.4 million bees to airlift an average adult human. We've talked about queens, workers, and drones, but there is another entity in the hive that scientists believe possesses high intelligence: the hive itself. Observing the coherent, logical actions of thousands of bees, scientists call this swarm intelligence or the hive mind. This collective organism never hibernates. They huddle in a ball to keep warm, feeding on stored honey. Every hive is a kingdom with its own personality. Some are aggressive, some are docile, some survive winter easily, others perish. The colony operates as a distinct entity capable of planning. The hive mind decides when to replace the queen. In truth, the queen is just a piece on the chessboard, moving at the will of the collective. The bee civilization even shows undeniable signs of democracy. When swarming to find a new home, scout bees fly out to find potential locations. They return and perform the waggle dance to vote for a site. Other bees go to check it out. If they like it, they return and dance the same pattern. They debate and compare until a majority consensus is reached. Only then does the entire swarm take off. If that's not democracy, what is? While swarming is understood, other mysteries remain. In 2006, colony collapse disorder was identified, where worker bees suddenly vanished, leaving behind the queen and food. The cause is still largely a mystery. We say we've domesticated honeybees, but they still keep secrets from us. They've been here for 100 million years. Humans have only been civilized for a few thousand. To them, we might just be a strange, fleeting blip in nature, noisy mammals that will eventually fade away, just like the dinosaurs. That brings us to the end of our journey into the bee kingdom. If you have anything to add, drop a comment below. As always, smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to explore more of the animal world. For now, goodbye and see you next time.